And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of ESL Open Cup Asia number 202. Oh my god, it's been an intense month of StarCraft, of ESL Masters Winter, and it has finally come to an end. Kind of. Of course, there's still DreamHack Atlanta around the corner, but the regionals have concluded and the weeklies continue. They do continue, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have our first player, our first of many. We have the South Korean Terran representing Team Onside. It is Ryung. And spawning in the top left, we have as opponent, we have the Chinese Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Hyperion. And I am not ready. So I was just posting social media. I was posting on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, all that stuff. So Onside, there we go. So I'm just fixing some things up wherever I can and diving into this so far. Hatch gas pool here, stay that open out of Hyperion. Likewise, Ryung, not doing anything too crazy, and it feels good to be back. Feels good to be back here once again. Hope everyone in the chat is enjoying themselves as well. Of course, I see Ice down in the chat, Thorn 69, 69.9 even. Cyclones as well. Green Soup, good morning, Senor Admin. Big shout out to Green Soup in the chat. Without Green Soup, of course, this event wouldn't even be happening, or I'm sure it would, but it'd be run significantly worse. Big shout out to Green Soup, of course, a lovely admin of today's tournament. Much love, much love. Thank you so much for everything that you do, for everything that you are. As we are just settling into our first matchup of the night. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys just have a look at the bracket yourselves. We have quite a stacked tournament here tonight, and we'll go over the bracket ourselves after we do wrap up the series, but for now we're going to be, again, diving into what we have now. Here we go. As we are going to be sending our first drone out to get that third base. Actually going for the, oh my god, we're going for the center third here. Hyperion, bold move. Base has been taken. Again, it was a standard opener, not a 2-racks or anything crazy like that from Ryung. Everything looking as it should, as the Reaper is going to be dancing here at the natural base. So far, the Lings, they do pull back in time. Nothing is gone down. The Queen is a couple of seconds away from popping out, and it should come out just in time to deflect this. But one Ling does fall, so we do manage to get a decent trade here from Ryung. He does pick up at least one unit as we're settling in towards the mid game. Now, this base is a really interesting one to take. It is quite vulnerable, quite exposed, and I am concerned here whether or not Hyperion can actually get this up and running without being too harassed by Ryung. As behind this, he's setting up for a 1-1-1. There we go. The starport is on the way. It's going to be a third CC before starport, so overall an economic opener, but with this, he's going to have an abundance of Hellions and soon to be Banshees to work with. I'm assuming Banshees, but we can head into a different direction with this starport. Yet to see whether we see an add-on swap or not. Well, we'll see. We'll get into it, I'm sure. As for now, we do have the Hellions in production. Hyperion, he's just droning, going to be spreading creep towards the center of the map, towards this center base location. Again, it's on the low ground. It's right next to high ground here as well. This point of elevation is nasty when it comes to tank positionings. So again, that's why I'm really concerned here for the health of this base, instead of expanding towards the linear path instead with this third base and soon to be fourth base as well. So it is very wide open, but if we do actually hold on to this base, then it can actually make it easier to take a fourth and fifth as time goes by, especially with creep. With creep spreading through the center of the map, we can take control, and we can actually, yeah, not just take control of this base, but take control of the entire map. We'll see if we can get there. For now, it is going to be Banshees. We did see an add-on swap here with the Rax and the Starport. Cloak is on the way from Ryung. We are going to be moving out here on the right hand side. Not too many Hellions, only 4 Hellions and a Reaper here. Dipping between the bases, Lings are in position. We do try to dive in, but so far Hyperion, oh my god, we're forcing the issue though. Ryung, he wants in one way or another, but reinforcements come in and the dive is punished. Ryung doesn't get a single worker. He gets caught by the Lings. A bit of a greedy maneuver here out of Ryung, and so far a good start by Hyperion. Goes in with the Overlord. He does confirm the third CC timing. He also does confirm the 1-1-1 behind this. Sees the researching tech lab, so we are fully aware of the Cloak Banshees, and Hyperion is going to be getting ready. We have a Spore in the main, Spore at the natural, Spore at the third base as well. Plenty to deal with those Banshees. Now, with enough Banshees, with 2 Banshees, we can still actually threaten Queens, and we don't have to go for drone damage. We can instead support the main army but there isn't much of a main army. Not anymore. Not after losing all those Hellions. It was 4 Hellions in total. 4 Hellions to a handful of Lings. Ay, ay, ay. Not like this. Catching up to that. Look at the green supply. Oh. Ay, you're an animal. You're an animal. But the Hellions are going to be moving out. Heading towards that the now new 4th base location. The 3rd base getting decently well fortified here. The creep is looking good on the left-hand side is what I will say. And Ryung still can't quite push out. Not yet. We are getting there though. We have a gateway? We have a Rax explosion here for Ryung. We have a factory going to be rotating over again. Just going for an add-on swap. Just hyper fixated here on marine production. On fire. Banshees get in. They get a queen. Oh my god. Queen is going to go down. Not a bad pick off here. We do lose a bit of HP here. We also get eyes on the Roach Warren. Interesting choice here from Hyperion. Typically, if we're opening Roaches, I said it, we open Roaches. We don't go Ling Bane with a Bane Nest as well, then into a Roach Warren. So this is a very interesting tech path here from Hyperion. A very interesting way to really mold his army. I'm curious where this is going to lead us. Banshees, they do dip in towards that natural base. Once again, getting another 2 workers, 3 workers go down. 4 drone. Oh my god, 4 workers in total here. 5 in total even. So yeah, not too bad here. These Banshees, they're putting in the work. There is no WCS game hard, so we have to count worker kills on our own. We can count at least a little bit. It's okay. Meanwhile, we do have those safety roaches in production. I imagine it's gonna, it's still gonna be Ling Bane, but we have a couple of Ravagers to support. So I'm thinking maybe 5 to 6 Ravagers to deal with all these tanks, to buy them down. Again, more of a supportive unit, less so a core army unit. So here we go, Ryung. He has established his 3rd base, his tanks are in position, and now we're going for drop play. Now, because he lost so many Hellions early on, and because he went for an economic opener, this is why it's taken until 7 minutes before we can really hit the field. Until now, Hyperion, he's been free to drone. He should have been droning up to 80, and 77, close enough. He's on 4 base saturation. His creep is looking good, by the way, and a big reason for this is because of the Hellions. Because the Hellions went down, the creep has been uncontested. We're now going to be pushing on forward. We're going to be taking down one of these drones, delaying the 5th base at least. A lot of creep is going to be receiving, but the queens, they keep up. Oh, we have a marauding group of 6 queens. The creep will stand strong. We got the hive on the way, 1-1 as well. And Hyperion, he's honestly in a damn good position. 5th base soon to be taken as well. The creep, again, just engulfing. We're double expanding, taking the 5th and the 6th base at the same time. But here comes the push. This is what we've all been building towards. A 1-1 timing for Ryung. 1-1, of course, kicking in. We have a 4CC behind this. We are not A-Raxing. We're not going for a big all-in. Just a push nonetheless. The goal here to take control of this 5th, to maybe move out even further and force a bad fight. Here we go. Tanks are moving forward. Marines going to be clearing up whatever creep they can. There's a lot of creep to clear. Going to get a couple of those tumors. The queens, they do stand strong. More Ling Bane on the way. How many Banes do we have? 9. Not too many. But where are those Ravagers? That's what I want to know as the army's going to be rotating over. There we go. 3 Ravagers are done. 1 queen goes down. But does Ryung really have enough to actually hold on to this position? I don't think he does. Again, Hyperion, he has, in a way, snowballed out of control. And here we go, we're diving onto the army. Bane's going to be rolling on forward as well. The first tank will get piled down. We don't quite have enough to completely collapse on this position. At the same time, the Banshees, they're still not done. They're looking for more damage. The Queens are rotating over. Well, some rough trades for the Ling Bane, but it looks like we should clean this up. Should. As the 3 Wilds will connect, the Marines trading very well here against the Zerg army, actually taking down all the Lings, taking down a lot of the Banelings, so a very efficient trade here for Ryung. Hyperion, he may have cleaned this up, but that was not a good trade whatsoever. You can see here trading so inefficiently, especially in those minerals. And Ryung, he's getting ready for the second wave. So Hyperion, he may have held onto his bases. This is true. He held onto his hatcheries. He has a good economy. He has good production. But he traded so poorly that he barely has a standing army for the second wave. And here we go. Ryung is coming in from the left-hand side. Hyperion is being pulled apart. Hatchery is going to be going down. We've barely spread any creep here. We have another double jump on the right-hand side. We're diving in. We want some of the queens. Oh, so far the queens, they will stay strong. The mains. The mines, they will connect. They take down a good chunk of the Ling Bane. Hatchery falls, and Ryung, he can keep on pushing. He's snowballing out of control. Ryung, he is maxed out. Again, trading so damn well, controlling damn well as well. The mines, Oh my god, they take down most of the Banelings, and without the Banelings, the Marines, they can stim and they can win. As they get on top of the Ravagers, they bust into the hatchery as well. This third base is so exposed. And workers are going down. We can't see how many workers are dying, but we know that it's most. It's a lot. At least 10 workers have fallen here. And we're going to get every single one, actually. Oof. Almost 20 workers here as we can keep on pushing again. No Banelings whatsoever. Ultras are on the way. A bit of a greedy move here by Hyperion to take up into Hive, to take up into Ultras in such a fashion. And it's just, yeah, it's just too much. Ryung is pulling him apart completely. Big mine shots here on the Lings. We focus on the hatchery just in time as well. The Ultras come out, but a little bit too little too late. GG gets pulled, and Ryung will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Hyperion played well, though. Hyperion, he did very well for himself, getting up to the mid-game, getting up to the point when Ryung went for his first push. The 7-minute push, that is what won Ryung the game, essentially. I know that the game lasted a couple of minutes longer than that, but at 7 minutes, the push moved out, and Ryung traded so damn well, traded incredibly well, to the point that Hyperion, he had lost his entire army in doing so. He had a good economy behind it, but it just wasn't good enough to trade that efficiently, and that really started the ball rolling. The ball started rolling here in favor of Ryung, and he could not be stopped, at least not by Hyperion. Also, I need to fix that. Hold on. As we're getting ready for game number 2. That work? Hey, there we go. Just moving the green screen, making sure that everything is looking good, and here we go. We're getting into game number 2. There we go. Just fixing up the race logos as well as we get into game number 2. Warping in Marines. Ah, you know what I mean. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Heartland. We have the South Korean Terran player leading the series 1-0, representing Team Onside. It is Ryung. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the Chinese Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Hyperion. Who else do I see in the chat? I see El Niño Papi. Niño Papi. Hello, hello. Did see you earlier today when we were laddering over on my personal channel. Welcome, welcome. Bienvenidos. Good compared to yesterday's great ZVT and EU regionals. I haven't tuned in yet. I was in bed at the time. But I think replay packs are going to be made available soon. TM. So yeah, I wouldn't mind casting them at some point. We'll see. But yeah, have heard good things. I've heard good things about that ZVT, and oh boy, yeah. Here in this one again, Ryung did very well for himself. He's going to be leading the series. He needs one more Unomas to take it all and to advance on into the next round. When it comes to Hyperion, I know some people may not be familiar with him, but he's in a more managerial role when it comes to CranKy Gaming. I think he is the manager, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, you know what? I can just double check. Hyperion. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he is the manager. He was the manager of KyZ Gaming, and then as the merger did occur, I believe he is again in a more managerial role in CranKy Gaming as well. But despite that, he's still a really strong player. You know, Hyperion, he is one of the best Zerg players in all of China. I still think I want to rate Silky above him, but not by much. I do think that Hyperion and Silky are top 2 currently, and yeah, again, you can even see in that last game, he was keeping up with Ryung. You know, he shut down the Hellions. He more or less shut down the Banshees as well, initially at least. And his creep was looking beautiful. But it's more than just that. It's more than just the setup. The setup was good, but the execution of the defense, that is where it really comes down to. That is where the pressure is really on, you know, whether or not you can macro and also defend and control and micro all at the same time. That is why Hyperion did struggle a little bit more against Ryung. We'll see if that continues to be the case, or we'll see if we can come back, bounce back, and force an ace match. I want to believe Hyperion, he actually has gotten some big wins in the past, some very big wins. I want to believe that you can replicate that once again. Meanwhile, behind this, we do have Ryung going for an economic opener. That's a third CC before starport. And a very economic here from our Terran player. He's going to rotate around. Does get eyes on the hatchery here. We are taking the center or the triangular third base location as the third for Hyperion. With this, we can launch our creeper across the map. Reaper is denied entry into the main, though. And once again, I get 3 CC before starport, as the starport is on the way. So back to back, the same builds are upon us. Quickly checking Wikipedia. I know he took down someone big. Who was it? Or at least maps of someone big. Hup. As the Reaper is going to try to delve into that natural as well. Creep is being spread. So far, we're able to keep up with everything that we have to offer for the time being, at least. For the time being. Hup. And yeah, hopefully this time Ryung is a little bit more respecting of the queens of his opponent. Not just the queens, but Hyperion in general. If you remember, last game all started and things kicked off and quickly snowballed in favor of Hyperion when Ryung dove with his Hellions, and where he got punished and lost every single Hellion in the process, gave up map control and allowed Hyperion to really get comfortable. So he has to be careful when it comes to that. Overlord is going to be coming in from behind, looking to get a scout of the main, and this time we do not have an add-on swap. The Tech Lab is kept on that Rax, and we have Stim on the way. No Banshee this time, Liberator in production instead, and the Overlord is going to confirm this. Very good scout here from Hyperion. Ryung was able to shut down the Overlord, but not before the scout did occur, and again, because of this, we know that we still need spores, don't get me wrong, but they need to be in position to defend against a Liberator, less so in the middle of the mineral line to defend against Banshees. So a very different defense is required. There it is. You can see the spores. They're a little bit further out on the edge of the mineral patches, essentially. These are designed to kind of deter and defend against Liberators specifically. So again, Hyperion is fully aware of what he just saw. Pieced all together. Didn't see the lid, but knows that that's all it must be. And once again, we're diving in. Oh my god! Ryung, he has no fear. He threatens to dive. This time, he doesn't force the issue. This time, he does back off. Jesus. Ryung, calm down, papi. Calm down. As Hyperion, he was lying in wait with his Lings, hoping for the dive even. But this time, Ryung doesn't give it to him. He backs off, and we're getting into the mid-game. We're getting into our 5-rack setup. Third CC is landed on location. A little bit greedy here, but we have plenty of Hellions to gain map control and to protect this third base. Liberator does dip behind that main base. We are going to be repositioning those Spore Crawlers. Queen's likewise repositioning as well. We're going to get a couple of drones. 1, we get 2. Only 2 workers, the Queen, so the Queen does maneuver over. Spore repositions. We can go back to mining. Spores once again are going to be rotating over as well. And just like previously, Ryung, he's kind of building himself towards this big Stim 1-1 combat shields timing. But now he's just going to be harassing and trying to maintain map control here with his Hellions, and he gets a couple of tumors. Liberator does go down. What was that, 3 worker kills? It's not bad. 3 worker kills here at least. Am I crazy? What? 7 other drones? Did the Hellions just wreak havoc? Yeah, they've got. I assume these were Lings, but okay. maybe I do need W. This is game hard to count. Oh, Smoge, puppy Smoge. As a double jump is going to be threatening the main base. Hellions likewise going to be threatening a dive into that third. Okay, we have hit that 7-minute mark. Creep is receding, and we're going for the drop. Hyperion, he is keeping up. Does force a pick up. He's holding on. And Hyperion, he's been able to drone up to 73. That's a pretty, basically 4-base saturation. Not too bad. But here comes the push. This is once again what we've been building up towards. And once again, Hyperion, he is rushing into the hive. I'm just concerned that this is just far too greedy. Here we go. We're pushing on forward. The Queens are trying to stand strong, but they take so many hits already. We do have some clutch transfuse. We keep the Queens alive. But what about the Ling Bane? What about the ground army? We barely have any. And Ryung, he's snowballing out of control. He shuts down the Baileys, gets on some of the morphing in Baileys as well. The Queens alone are not good enough. They need support, and they just don't have any. Sure, we have a Hive on the way, but alas, that's not going to help against this army. Plus transfuses, they do keep the hatchery alive. We still have so many Widow Mines behind this. As they push on forward, the hatchery is going to go down. We collapse on this. The mines. Mines go off. Oh my god, a hot pick up here on the Bio Army as well. We keep everything alive for Ryung. And once again, he has just traded so damn well. Trading. Oh my god, 3-1 here when it comes to the minerals. And his Marine Army is still standing strong. And these mines are going to reset? No shot. This is brutal. The Baileys are rolling in. Oh! I'll pick up once again. The mines! They go off on the Queens. Oh, and GG gets called. It's just too much. We had another army on the right-hand side pushing in. And Ryung will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Ryung for taking it all in the end. Again, very crisp executions there of his pushes, of his timing attacks in both game 1 and game 2. And yeah, Hyperion maybe being a little bit too greedy both games. It was a really interesting style that we saw from him, but both games he was rushing into a Hive. In game 1, he was trying to rush into Ultras. Here in game 2, I'm sure he wanted to do something similar as well, but alas, he could not kind of get away with cutting those corners, and he was just unable to keep up with Ryung in the end. It just wasn't ready for the attack, didn't have enough Bailings ready for it, and he was caught with his pants down. Straight up, he was just caught, the pants were down, and Ryung does take a 2-0. Meanwhile, we have another result coming in. Oh my god, I mentioned this before, but we will have a look at the brackets, and we have a lot to catch up on. Let's go.